The wind howled across the rocky landscape of Tarsus IV as William Carter squinted against the dust storm. He adjusted his breathing mask and continued his daily inspection of the colony's outer defenses. The harsh conditions of this planet had claimed many lives over the 3 years since they had established the mining outpost, but the rich mineral deposits made the struggle worthwhile. Earth needed these resources, and the colonists of Tarsus IV were proud to provide them despite the dangers. Carter reached the main observation post where his second-in-command, Megan Ross, waited with a concerned expression. Something was wrong. He could tell by the way she gripped her datapad and the tension in her shoulders. "What is it, Ross?" he asked, removing his mask as the airlock sealed behind him. "Sir, we picked up an unusual signal about 30 minutes ago," she said, handing him the datapad. "It's not Earth standard, and it's not matching any of our communication protocols." Carter frowned as he studied the screen. The signal pattern was unlike anything he had seen before. It pulsed in an organized sequence that suggested intelligence rather than random space noise. "Have you tried responding?" he asked. "Yes, sir. We sent standard greeting protocols on all frequencies. They responded almost immediately." Ross tapped the screen, bringing up a new data file. "This came through 5 minutes ago. Our computers are still trying to translate it, but they've made some progress." The message was fragmented, but Carter could make out a few phrases. "Seeking assistance. Pursued by. Extinction-level threat. Detected human colony. Where is it coming from?" Carter asked, already moving toward the command center with Ross following close behind. "That's the strange part," she replied. "It's coming from just outside our system, but our long-range scanners didn't detect any vessels until the transmission began. It's almost as if they were hiding and only revealed themselves when they confirmed our presence." The command center buzzed with activity as the colony's small team of specialists worked to establish clearer communication with the unknown vessel. Carter took his position at the central console and opened a direct channel. "This is William Carter, Colony Administrator of Tarsus IV Human Settlement. We've received your transmission and are working to understand your message. Please identify yourselves and state your intentions clearly." The response came faster than expected. The main screen flickered and revealed a being unlike any Carter had seen before. It had pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer like water, large eyes that blinked sideways, and what appeared to be gill-like structures on its neck. When it spoke, its mouth barely moved, but the words came through the translator in a soft, melodic voice. "Greetings, William Carter of Earth. I am Ambassador Ziv of the Viridian Remnant. We apologize for our sudden appearance, but caution has become necessary for our survival. We have been searching for your kind for some time." Carter maintained his composure despite his amazement. First contact with an alien species was happening on his watch, on this remote mining colony at the edge of explored space. "Ambassador Ziv, we welcome peaceful contact. You mentioned you're seeking assistance. How can we help you?" The alien's expression changed subtly, something like sorrow passing across its features. "We are the last survivors of a once great civilization. We are being hunted to extinction by a species known as the Drax. They have pursued us across 17 star systems, destroying every colony, every outpost, every ship they find. We were once part of a galactic alliance of peaceful species, but when the Drax began their campaign against us, the others abandoned us rather than face the Drax themselves." "Why target your people specifically?" Carter asked. "The Drax are conquerors who believe in genetic superiority. They evolved on a world of abundant resources and mild conditions. They see species from harsh worlds as evolutionary dead ends that waste valuable planetary resources. They began with small world cleansings, but their ideology has grown more extreme with each victory." Carter felt a chill that had nothing to do with the planet's harsh climate. "And why seek us out? How did you even know we were here?" Ambassador Ziv leaned closer to the screen. "Stories have spread throughout this sector of space about a new species from a planet called Earth. A Deathworld species that not only survived, but thrived on a planet that would kill most sentient life in the Alliance. Your reputation preceded you. We tracked the supply ships from your colony and found you here, on another world that most species would find uninhabitable. We need allies who understand survival against all odds. Deathworlders like yourselves." The term caught Carter by surprise. Deathworlders? It is what the Alliance calls species from planets with extreme conditions. High gravity, atmospheric toxins, dangerous predators, extreme weather, radiation. Worlds that forge resilient life through harsh natural selection. Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world in old Alliance records. Even this colony world would be considered lethal to most Alliance species. Pride mixed with concern as Carter processed this information. Humans had always considered Earth a nurturing cradle of life. The idea that it was viewed as an extreme environment by other intelligent species was both surprising and somehow validating of humanity's pioneering spirit. "How many of your people survive?" Carter asked. "Fewer than 10,000 spread across 3 hidden vessels. We were once billions." Before Carter could respond, alarms blared throughout the command center. Ross rushed to the sensor station and called out, "Multiple objects just appeared at the edge of our system. They're moving fast toward the Viridian ship's position." Ambassador Ziv's face showed clear fear. "They have found us. The Drax hunting fleet. We stayed in communication too long." The image began to break up. "Your colony is now in danger too. They will show no mercy. If you can, warn your homeworld. Tell them." The transmission cut off abruptly. The main screen showed multiple fast-moving vessels converging on a single point where the Viridian ship must be. "Get me a direct line to Earth Command. Maximum encryption," Carter ordered, "and sound general alerts throughout the colony. All non-essential personnel to the emergency shelters." As the command center erupted into activity, Carter began recording his message to Earth. "This is Administrator William Carter of Tarsus 4 Colony, with an emergency first contact report. We have encountered a species called the Viridians who are being hunted to extinction by aggressive conquerors known as the Drax. The Viridians sought us out specifically because humans are classified as Deathworlders, species capable of surviving extreme planetary conditions." He continued his report, including all details from the brief conversation with Ambassador Ziv, aware that this might be the only warning Earth would receive. As he spoke, the tactical display showed the Drax ships forming an attack pattern. "The Drax vessels are now on an intercept course with our colony. Our defenses are minimal and designed for meteor deflection, not military engagement. I am implementing emergency protocols and will attempt diplomatic contact. But based on the Viridian information, I do not expect the Drax to be receptive. We will hold as long as we can." Carter ended the transmission and ordered it sent via all available communication channels toward Earth. He knew the message would take months to reach home, even with their best communication technology. Outside the reinforced windows of the command center, the first flashes of orbital bombardment became visible in the upper atmosphere. Carter watched as streaks of light began to rain down on the world that had been his home for the past 3 years. "All personnel to battle stations," he said quietly, knowing their defense was likely futile. "Let's show these Drax what Deathworlders are made of." The first impacts shook the colony buildings as the Drax announced their arrival. The fight for Tarsus 4 had begun, and Earth remained unaware of the threat moving steadily toward humanity's doorstep. 6 months had passed since the last transmission from Tarsus 4 reached Earth Command. The message had traveled across vast distances of space, carrying the desperate warning from Administrator Carter. When it finally arrived, it set off a chain of events that led Captain Olivia Martinez to this moment. Standing in a massive underground hangar beneath the Pacific Ocean, Martinez adjusted her uniform as she waited for her escort. At 42, she had spent over 20 years in the Navy, commanding 3 different vessels with distinction. Her last assignment had been leading humanitarian relief efforts after the floods in New Singapore. She had been preparing for retirement when the call came, summoning her to this classified facility with minimal explanation. A door hissed open at the far end of the waiting area. Admiral Peter Daniels strode toward her with purpose in his step. Martinez had served under him years ago and respected his direct approach. "Captain Martinez," he said, extending his hand. "Thank you for coming on such short notice." "Admiral," she replied with a firm handshake. "Your message suggested this was urgent." "More than you know," he said, gesturing for her to follow him through the security door. 6 months ago, we received a transmission from our mining colony on Tarsus 4. It was a first contact situation with an alien species, followed immediately by an attack from another hostile alien force. Martinez kept her composure despite her surprise. "First contact? Has this been made public?" "No," Daniel said as they entered an elevator that began descending deeper beneath the ocean floor. "Because shortly after that transmission, all contact with Tarsus 4 was lost. We sent a reconnaissance drone. The colony was destroyed. No survivors. The elevator doors opened to reveal an enormous cavern carved into the bedrock beneath the ocean. In the center, suspended in a massive construction cradle, was the most unusual ship Martinez had ever seen. It had the general shape of a naval vessel, but with sleek, almost organic lines. Parts of the hull seemed to pulse with a faint blue glow. "What am I looking at, Admiral?" she asked, unable to hide her amazement. "The USS Valkyrie," Daniels replied with pride evident in his voice. "The first ship of her kind, built with a combination of our technology and elements reverse-engineered from a crashed Viridian scout ship found near Mars 20 years ago." 20 years? "You mean we had first contact before Tarsus 4? Daniels nodded. "A very different kind of contact. A damaged vessel with a dead crew. We kept it classified while our scientists studied it. When the Tarsus 4 transmission came through, we accelerated the Valkyrie project. The timing of this threat could not be worse, but in some ways we were prepared. They walked along a platform that circled the massive ship. Martinez estimated it was roughly the size of a destroyer, but with a configuration unlike any naval vessel she had seen. "Why am I here, Admiral?" "Because you're going to command her," Daniels said simply. "Your record shows exceptional adaptability and quick decision-making in crisis situations. The Valkyrie needs a captain who can think beyond conventional naval doctrine." Martinez studied the ship more carefully now, noting the unusual weapon placements and what appeared to be specialized sensor arrays along the hull. "What exactly is this ship capable of?" she asked. "That's best explained by the team that built her," Daniels replied, leading Martinez to a briefing room overlooking the construction bay. Inside, 4 people waited around a holographic display table. They stood as Martinez and Daniels entered. "Captain Martinez, meet your senior crew," Daniels said. "These 4 have been working on the Valkyrie project from the beginning and understand her capabilities better than anyone." A tall man with close-cropped hair stepped forward first. "Lieutenant Commander Daniel Wright, Tactical Systems," he said with a crisp salute. "Former Special Forces." Beside him, a woman with bright red hair tied back in a practical bun nodded. "Lieutenant Kate Sullivan, Engineering. I helped design the hybrid propulsion system." A middle-aged man with kind eyes and steady hands introduced himself next. "Lieutenant Samuel Johnson, Medical Officer. I specialize in extreme environment physiology." Finally, a younger woman with dark skin and intense focus in her eyes stepped forward. "Lieutenant Lisa Brooks, Communications and Xenolinguistics. I helped decode the Viridian language from the scout ship and the Tarsus 4 transmission." Martinez acknowledged each of them, before turning back to Daniels. "Admiral, I need to understand exactly what we're facing and what this ship can do." Wright activated the holographic display, showing footage from Tarsus 4's orbital sensors during the attack. The Drax ships move in coordinated swarm patterns, suggesting a hive mind tactical approach. Their weapons are energy-based, similar to plasma technology but more focused. Their hulls appear to be resistant to conventional ballistics. Sullivan stepped forward and changed the display to show the Valkyrie's schematics. "The Valkyrie is designed specifically to counter their advantages. The Viridian tech we incorporated gives us better energy shielding than anything in our fleet. But the real breakthrough is the BioLink system." "BioLink?" Martinez questioned. Johnson took over the explanation. The Viridians had developed a neural interface technology that allows direct connection between crew and ship systems. We've adapted it for human physiology. It amplifies our natural advantages, human intuition, split-second decision-making, and our adaptability. Brooks added, "We believe these are traits the Drax don't possess. From the Viridian records and the Tarsus 4 transmission, we know the Drax evolved on a world with few natural predators or environmental challenges. They never developed the survival instincts that humans take for granted." Daniels watched Martinez as she processed this information. "This is why we need you, Captain. The BioLink system requires a certain psychological profile, someone who can make difficult decisions under pressure without hesitation, but who also values human life enough to use this power responsibly." Martinez walked closer to the display, studying the internal layout of the Valkyrie. "How does this BioLink feel to the user?" "Like an extension of your own body," Sullivan explained. "You'll feel the ship's systems as if they were additional limbs or senses. It takes some getting used to, but once synchronized, it provides reaction times impossible with conventional controls." "And the mission?" Martinez asked, turning back to Daniels. Find any surviving Viridians, establish contact, and form an alliance against the Drax, Daniel said gravely. According to the Tarsus 4 transmission, there may be other Deathworld species out there who have been targeted. Earth wasn't on the Drax radar before, but after Tarsus 4, that's changed. We need to prepare for the possibility they'll come here next. Martinez looked through the window at the Valkyrie again. When do we leave? The ship will be ready for final testing in 48 hours. You launch in 72, Daniels replied. In the meantime, you and your crew will begin biolink calibration and mission briefings. As the others filed out to prepare, Martinez remained looking at the ship that would soon become her responsibility. The gravity of the mission settled on her shoulders, not just protecting Earth, but potentially forming humanity's first interstellar alliance. Admiral, she said quietly, the crew you've selected, they're all from high-stress backgrounds or extreme environments, aren't they? Daniels nodded. Wright grew up in the Alaskan wilderness. Sullivan is from the Australian outback. Johnson served 10 years at the Antarctic Research Station. Brooks was raised in the Sahara Reclamation Zone. And you, Captain, survived the Honduras hurricane disaster as a child. You all understand what it means to be Deathworlders, even if you never heard that term before. Martinez nodded, understanding now why they had been chosen. Earth had forged them into survivors. And now the Valkyrie would carry that resilience to the stars. In 72 hours, they would begin their mission, to find allies among the stars and face an enemy that had never encountered. The determined resistance of a species, born on a world that had tried to kill them every day of their evolution. The USS Valkyrie emerged from its final jump with systems humming at peak efficiency. Captain Martinez felt the ship through the biolink interface as if it were part of her own body. The neural connection had taken weeks to master, but now she could sense every aspect of the vessel, from the gentle vibration of the engines to the subtle shifts in shield harmonics. The sensation was both exhilarating and strange. Jump complete, Captain, Wright reported from the tactical station. All systems nominal. Sensors detecting a planetary body matching Elysium's profile, Brooks added, her fingers dancing across her console as she processed the incoming data. It's the last known Viridian sanctuary world according to the coordinates from the Tarsus 4 transmission. Martinez stood from her command chair and approached the main view screen. The planet ahead appeared like a blue-green jewel against the darkness of space, cloud formations swirling across its surface. It looked peaceful, almost idyllic. Life signs, she asked. Johnson consulted his readings. Significant population centers detected, primarily concentrated on the northern continent. Biosignatures match what we know of Viridian physiology. Picking up transmissions, Brooks said suddenly, her expression growing concerned. Multiple frequencies, mostly distress signals. Captain, there are ships in orbit. They don't match Viridian design parameters. Martinez felt a cold certainty settle in her gut. Drax? Wright nodded grimly. Configuration matches the vessels that attacked Tarsus IV. Weapons hot, engaged with smaller ships trying to flee the planet. Looks like we arrived during an evacuation. Battle stations, Martinez ordered. Shields to maximum. Right. Prepare defensive measures, but hold fire until my command. Brooks, see if you can establish contact with any Viridian vessels. Sullivan, how's our biolink system performing under combat conditions? All systems green, Captain, Sullivan responded from engineering. Neural pathways are stable. The ship is ready to respond to our linked commands. Martinez took a deep breath and activated her full connection to the Valkyrie's systems. Immediately, her awareness expanded. She could feel the enemy ships as points of pressure against her consciousness, their weapon systems registering as potential threats. The fleeing Viridian vessels appeared as vulnerable entities needing protection. This is Captain Olivia Martinez of the Earth vessel USS Valkyrie, she said as Brooks opened a channel. We are responding to the distress call from Tarsus 4 and have come to offer assistance to the Viridian people. Please acknowledge. For several tense moments, there was no response. Then a transmission came through, the visual showing a Viridian face similar to the one Carter had described in his final message. Earth vessel, this is Ambassador Zahn of the Viridian Council. Your arrival is unexpected, but desperately needed. The Drax found our sanctuary world 3 days ago. We are evacuating our people, but their blockade is preventing most ships from escaping. We have nowhere left to run. Ambassador, we're here to help, Martinez replied. Can you transmit the coordinates of your main evacuation point? We'll create a corridor for your ships to escape. As the coordinates came through, Wright analyzed the Drax fleet positions. 6 capital ships, at least 20 smaller attack vessels. They've arranged themselves in a standard blockade formation. If we hit them at these coordinates, we can disrupt their pattern enough to create an escape route for the Viridian ships. Martinez nodded. Brooks, inform all Viridian vessels of our plan. Sullivan, divert auxiliary power to forward shields. We're going to punch a hole through their line. Wright, target the lead Drax vessel with a warning shot. Let's see how they respond to Earth's first contact. The Valkyrie moved with surprising grace for a ship of its size, accelerating toward the Drax blockade. Martinez felt the weapon systems charge through her biolink as Wright fired a precise energy burst across the bow of the largest enemy vessel. The response was immediate. 3 Drax ships broke formation and moved to intercept the Valkyrie energy weapons charging. They're targeting our propulsion systems, Wright reported. Standard tactic to disable rather than destroy. They probably want to capture our technology. Evasive pattern Delta, Martinez ordered. Through the biolink, she directed the ship in a series of maneuvers that would have been impossible with conventional controls. The Valkyrie twisted and banked, avoiding the incoming fire with precision that left the Drax vessels struggling to track them. Captain, I'm detecting something unusual in their targeting systems, Sullivan said from engineering. They seem to be coordinating through some kind of network. Each ship adjusts based on data from the others, almost like a hive mind, Martinez finished. Brooks, can you isolate their communication frequencies? Working on it, Brooks replied, her brow furrowed in concentration. Their signals are encrypted, but there's a pattern. Give me a few minutes. The Valkyrie shuddered as a glancing hit struck their shields. Martinez felt the impact through the biolink, a brief flash of pain across her awareness. Shields holding at 87%, Wright reported. Returning fire. The Valkyrie's main weapons released a barrage that struck one of the Drax vessels directly. The enemy ship's shields flared and then collapsed under the precisely targeted assault. Direct hit, Wright announced with satisfaction. Their shields are down. Their design isn't as advanced as we thought. Don't get overconfident, Martinez cautioned. There are still plenty more of them. Sullivan, what about that network you detected? I think I can disrupt it, Sullivan replied. If we modify our shield harmonics to generate an interference field at the right frequency, we might be able to break their coordination temporarily. Do it, Martinez ordered. As Sullivan made the adjustments, Brooks called out, Captain, I've made progress decoding their transmissions. They're using a mathematical language base, but I'm starting to understand their tactical commands. They're calling for reinforcements from the planet's surface. How long do we have? 30 minutes, maybe less. Martinez made a quick decision. Right, target the 2 Drax vessels nearest the evacuation corridor. Full weapons. Sullivan, implement your disruption field the moment Wright fires. Let's see if we can confuse them long enough for the Viridians to escape. The Valkyrie surged forward, weapon systems charging to maximum. Martinez felt the ship's energy building through the biolink, a sensation like electricity flowing through her veins. When Wright fired, she directed the ship's movement in perfect synchronization with the attack, maximizing their effectiveness. The Drax ships were caught off guard. As the Valkyrie's weapons struck, Sullivan activated the disruption field. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The coordinated Drax fleet suddenly seemed to lose cohesion, ships moving erratically or freezing in place. It's working, Sullivan exclaimed. The disruption field is breaking their network connection. They can't coordinate their attacks. Brooks, tell the Viridian ships to move now, Martinez ordered. Johnson, prepare medical bay for possible casualties. We may need to take on wounded. The Viridian evacuation ships recognized the opportunity and accelerated through the gap in the Drax blockade. Ambassador Zahn's vessel was among the first to escape, sending a message of gratitude as they passed. Captain, the lead Drax ship is changing its energy signature, Wright warned. They're adapting to our disruption field. We have minutes at most before they reestablish their network. That's all we need, Martinez replied. Keep the corridor open as long as possible. Once the last Viridian ship is clear, we'll follow them out. As the final evacuation vessels passed through the gap, the Drax began to recover from the disruption. Their ships started moving with purpose again, converging on the Valkyrie with weapons charged. All Viridian ships clear, Brooks reported. Ambassador Zahn is requesting we follow them to their secondary rendezvous point. Set course and engage, Martinez ordered. Maximum speed. The Valkyrie turned away from the approaching Drax fleet and accelerated, its advanced engines quickly outpacing the pursuit. Through the biolink, Martinez felt the ship's satisfaction, almost as if the Valkyrie itself was proud of their victory. "Captain," Johnson called from his station, "Ambassador Zahn is requesting permission to come aboard once we reach the rendezvous point. He says they have critical information about other potential allies, other Deathworld species that might join us against the Drax." Martinez nodded, a spark of hope kindling in her chest. "Tell him we'll welcome him aboard. Today we showed the Drax what one Deathworld species can do. Let's see what happens when we find more of our kind." Ambassador Zahn stood in the Valkyrie's conference room, his blue skin shimmering under the lights as he gestured to the star map displayed on the large screen. Captain Martinez and her senior crew listened intently as the Viridian explained the locations of other potential allies. "Here in the Rigel system we may find the Saurians," Zahn said, pointing to a cluster of stars. "They evolved on a high-gravity world with extreme temperature variations. Their physical strength is remarkable. The Drax attacked them 3 standard years ago and the survivors scattered to these outer colonies." "And these coordinates?" Martinez asked, indicating another marked section of the map. "The Krell of Zeta Orionis," Zahn replied, "an insectoid species with natural hive mind capabilities, though very different from the artificial network the Drax use. Their homeworld was nearly twice Earth's gravity with a toxic atmosphere by your standards. The Drax considered them an abomination due to their hive consciousness." Wright studied the tactical implications. "Having allies with a natural hive mind could give us an advantage in understanding Drax coordination patterns." "What about this third system?" Sullivan asked, pointing to a blue-marked star. "The water world Poseidon, home to the Nereians," Zahn explained. "Aquatic beings who evolved in oceans under immense pressure and extreme conditions. Their adaptive capabilities are extraordinary. They can alter their biological structures to survive in almost any liquid environment." Johnson looked up from his notes with interest. "Their adaptive biology could provide insights for improving our biolink systems." Martinez considered the map thoughtfully. "So we have 4 Deathworld species including humans, each with unique evolutionary advantages. Together we might stand a chance against the Drax." "That is our hope," Zahn agreed. "But understand, Captain, that these species have been fighting alone and losing. The Drax have been methodical in keeping us separated, preventing any alliance. Trust will not come easily." Brooks, who had been analyzing the Viridian language patterns, spoke up. "Each of these species was abandoned by the galactic community when the Drax targeted them?" "Yes," Zahn said sadly. "The old alliance was built by species from gentle worlds. When faced with the Drax threat, they chose to sacrifice the Deathworlders rather than stand with us. They believed our harsh evolution made us fundamentally different, less civilized. They were wrong," Martinez stated firmly. "Evolution in challenging environments doesn't make a species less civilized. It makes them resilient. A perspective the Drax find threatening," Zahn noted. "Their ideology is built on the belief that their evolution on a paradise world makes them superior. The existence of successful Deathworld species challenges that belief." Martinez stood. Decision made. "We'll need to move quickly. Brooks, work with Ambassador Zahn to prepare first contact messages for each species. Wright, develop tactical scenarios for potential Drax encounters at each location. Sullivan, I want the biolink system optimized based on what we've learned about Drax technology. Johnson, study the physiological data on these species. I want to know how we might integrate their strengths into our approach." The crew dispersed to their tasks while Martinez remained with Zahn, studying the map. "The Saurians should be our first stop," she decided. "Their combat capabilities could be crucial if we encountered Drax forces." Zahn nodded agreement. "A wise choice. But I must warn you, Captain. The Saurians are proud warriors. They have suffered greatly, and may view any new contact with suspicion. Then we'll need to prove ourselves worthy allies," Martinez replied. The Valkyrie arrived at the Rigel system 3 days later, approaching cautiously. Scans revealed a harsh rocky planet with scattered settlements on the surface. "No response to our hails," Brooks reported from communications. "Detecting defense systems powering up," Wright warned. "They're treating us as hostile." Martinez made a quick decision. "Lower shields." "Power down weapons, Captain?" Wright questioned with concern. "They're Deathworlders like us," Martinez explained. "They respect strength but also understand vulnerability. If we come in with shields up, we're just another potential threat. If we approach openly, we show trust." It was a risky move, but the response came swiftly. A gruff voice transmitted through the bridge speakers. Unknown vessel, you enter Saurian space. Identify yourselves or be destroyed. This is Captain Olivia Martinez of the Earth vessel Valkyrie. We come seeking alliance against the Drax. We have Ambassador Zahn of the Viridians aboard. A tense silence followed before the voice returned. Approach coordinates being transmitted. Any deviation will be considered hostile action. The Valkyrie followed the designated path to a massive asteroid that served as the Saurian base. As they docked, Martinez selected her away team, Wright for security, Johnson for medical expertise, and Brooks for communication. The Saurians were impressive in person, standing nearly 7 feet tall with scaled skin in earthy tones and powerful muscular bodies adapted to their high-gravity homeworld. Their leader, Commander Vex, towered over the humans as he greeted them in the docking bay. So Earth finally enters the galactic stage. Vex rumbled, sharp teeth visible as he spoke. We heard rumors of a human colony destroyed by the Drax. We did not expect survivors to seek us out. We're doing more than surviving, Martinez replied. We're building an alliance of Deathworld species to fight back. Vex's yellow eyes narrowed. Many have spoken of alliances before. The old coalition abandoned us when the Drax came. We're not them, Martinez stated firmly. Humans understand fighting against the odds. Our entire history is shaped by overcoming challenges that should have destroyed us. Ambassador Zahn stepped forward. The humans saved our evacuation ships at Elysium. Their ship has technology that disrupted the Drax network. They fight with honor and skill. Vex considered this information. Words are easy. Proof requires action. As if summoned by his challenge, alarms blared throughout the asteroid base. A Saurian officer rushed in. Commander! Drax scout ships approaching. They must have followed the Earth vessel. Vex turned to Martinez with suspicion, but she was already activating her communicator. Sullivan, prepare the Valkyrie for immediate launch. Implement the disruption field modifications. Right, stay with the away team. The rest of you back to the ship. You intend to fight? Vex asked, surprise evident in his voice. We brought this to your doorstep, Martinez replied. We'll help defend your people. Through her biolink, Martinez connected with the Valkyrie even from the asteroid base. She could feel the ship's systems coming online, preparing for battle. Commander Vex, she said, if your warriors would join us, we can demonstrate how Deathworlders fight together. Vex studied her for a moment, then nodded sharply. I will command our defense vessels personally. Let us see if humans fight as well as they talk. The battle that followed became the first true test of Martinez's alliance strategy. The Valkyrie moved in perfect coordination with the heavier Saurian vessels, using its superior speed and the disruption field to break the Drax formation, while the Saurians delivered devastating strikes with their powerful weapons. Through the biolink, Martinez directed the Valkyrie with precision that astonished the Saurian observers. When a Drax ship targeted the Saurian command vessel, the Valkyrie interposed itself, shields absorbing damage that would have crippled Vex's ship. When the last Drax vessel retreated, Vex opened a channel to the Valkyrie. Captain Martinez, it seems humans understand alliance better than most. The Saurians would join your coalition of Deathworlders. Martinez felt a surge of satisfaction. Commander, we welcome your strength. Our next destination is Zeta Orionis to contact the Krell. Will your ships join us? 2 of our best vessels will accompany you, Vex confirmed. It is time Deathworlders stopped fighting alone. With the Saurians committed to the alliance, the Valkyrie proceeded to Zeta Orionis. The Krell, initially suspicious, were impressed by the combined human-Saurian Viridian approach. Their natural hive mind abilities proved invaluable in understanding and countering Drax coordination. Tactics. The Nereians of Poseidon became the 4th species to join what was now being called the Deathworlder Alliance. Their adaptive biology inspired Sullivan to create improvements to the biolink system, allowing deeper integration of the crew's consciousness with the ship. As the Alliance fleet grew, Brooks developed a communication system that allowed all 4 species to coordinate despite their vastly different biologies and languages. Wright incorporated tactical doctrines from each species, creating a hybrid approach that maximized their diverse strengths. But their success did not go unnoticed. Drax attacks increased in frequency and strength. The enemy was adapting, learning from each encounter. During a planning session aboard the Valkyrie, Martinez studied reports from the latest skirmishes with growing concern. They're getting better at countering our disruption field, she noted, and they're targeting our communication system specifically. The Dracs consider this alliance an existential threat to their ideology, Ambassador Zahn explained. A unified force of Deathworlders defies everything they believe about evolutionary superiority. Commander Vex slammed a scaled fist on the table. Let them come. Each battle makes us stronger. But for how long? Martinez questioned. We're still outnumbered. We need a more permanent solution. The Deathworlder Alliance fleet gathered at the edge of known space, just beyond Drac sensor range. Captain Martinez stood on the bridge of the Valkyrie, looking at the tactical display showing their assembled forces. 5 Saurian battlecruisers, 3 Krell hive ships, 7 Nerian adaptation vessels, and 12 Viridian scout ships flanked the Valkyrie. It was an impressive force, but still small compared to the Drax armada they would soon face. Final status reports coming in, Captain, Brooks announced from her station. All ships confirm ready status. Martinez nodded and activated the fleet-wide communication channel. This is Captain Martinez. In a few hours, we will jump to the Drax home system and execute the most daring operation in the history of our alliance. Intelligence from our combined reconnaissance efforts has identified a critical weakness in the Drax civilization. Their hive mind coordination, which makes their fleet so effective, depends on a central node located on their homeworld. If we can disrupt this node, we can break their unified consciousness and force them to function as individuals. She paused, letting the significance of this sink in. Each of our species has evolved to thrive as individuals in harsh environments. The Dracs have not. They evolved in a paradise world where resources were plentiful and dangers few. Their strength comes from artificial unity, not natural resilience. Today we will show them what true Deathworlders can accomplish. The plan was risky, but built on the strengths of each species. The main fleet would engage the Drax defensive forces in a direct confrontation, drawing attention away from the Valkyrie. Using an advanced stealth system developed by the Nerians, the Valkyrie would slip past the Drax blockade and deliver a strike team to the surface. This team, consisting of representatives from each Deathworlder species, would infiltrate the central hive mind facility and plant a disruption device designed by Sullivan and the Krell engineers. Strike team, report to the shuttle bay for final briefing, Martinez ordered. She would lead the team personally, leaving Wright in command of the Valkyrie during the operation. In the shuttle bay, Martinez met with her diverse strike team, Vex representing the Saurians, Axel from the Krell, a Nerian adaptation specialist named Mira, and Ambassador Zahn of the Viridians. Sullivan would join them to handle the technical aspects of the mission. The Drax homeworld is unlike any environment we've encountered, Martinez explained as they gathered around a holographic display of their target. Low gravity, stable climate, minimal natural predators. Their civilization has never faced significant challenges. They've grown soft while maintaining the illusion of superiority. Vex growled in agreement. Their physical forms are weak. In direct combat, any of our species would prevail. Which is why they avoid direct combat whenever possible, Zahn added. They prefer to attack from orbit, destroying entire worlds rather than facing resistance on the ground. Ixel communicated through the translator device. Their hive mind gives them perfect coordination, but limits individual initiative. When the connection is broken, they will experience confusion unlike anything in their history. Mira, the Nerian, shifted her fluid form slightly. Our adaptation to extreme pressure variations will be crucial when moving through their security systems. I can alter my density to bypass most physical barriers. Sullivan finished checking her equipment. The disruption device is ready. Once planted in their central node, it will send a cascading failure through their entire network. They won't be able to re-establish full coordination for months, maybe years. Martinez looked at each member of her team. We all evolved on worlds that tried to kill us every day. That history of survival is our greatest weapon. Let's show the Drax what Deathworlders are truly capable of. The jump into the Drax system went exactly as planned. The main fleet emerged from hyperspace and immediately engaged the Drax defensive forces. The battle was fierce, with ships from both sides taking damage. Through the biolink, Martinez could feel the Valkyrie systems running at peak efficiency as Wright executed a series of complex maneuvers that kept them hidden from Drax sensors. Approaching atmosphere entry point, Wright reported. Stealth systems holding. Begin descent, Martinez ordered. Strike team to the shuttle. As the Valkyrie slipped into the upper atmosphere of the Drax homeworld, Martinez and her team boarded the specially modified shuttle. The craft was small but incorporated technology from all 4 Deathworlder species, making it virtually undetectable to Drax security systems. The descent to the surface was smooth, almost too easy compared to the harsh landings Martinez had experienced on Earth during training. The Drax world was as beautiful as intelligence had suggested, with sprawling cities nestled in lush landscapes under a perfect blue sky. No wonder they grew soft, Vex muttered as they approached their landing zone. No real weather, no dangerous terrain, no challenges to overcome. They landed in a secluded area near the central hive mind facility, a massive structure that dominated the capital city's skyline. As they exited the shuttle, Martinez was struck by how light she felt in the lower gravity. Remember, we'll all be stronger than expected here, she cautioned. Control your movements. With Mira's adaptive camouflage concealing them and Ixil's hive mind abilities detecting Drax movement patterns, the team made their way toward the facility. They encountered minimal security, confirming their theory that the Drax rarely dealt with threats on their homeworld. When they reached the outer perimeter, Sullivan accessed a terminal and used the knowledge gained from months of studying Drax systems to bypass the security protocols. The doors slid open silently, allowing them to slip inside. The central node should be 5 levels down, Sullivan whispered, consulting her scanner. Minimal personnel present. Most Drax are likely connected to the battle in orbit. As they moved deeper into the facility, they encountered their first Drax in person. The aliens were tall and slender with pale skin that had never been exposed to harsh sunlight or extreme elements. Their movements were graceful but predictable, lacking the constant alertness that characterized species from more dangerous worlds. Vex easily overpowered the 2 guards they couldn't avoid, his saurian strength overwhelming in the low-gravity environment. The team continued downward, finally reaching the central chamber where the hive mind node pulsed with energy. The room was vast, filled with advanced technology centered around a crystalline structure that glowed with an inner light. Connections spread outward like a web, linking to terminals and transmission equipment. That's it, Sullivan said quietly. The physical manifestation of their network. Plant the device there and their entire command structure collapses. As they approached the central crystal, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. A voice spoke in the Drax language which Brooks had taught them enough to understand. Intruders detected in central node. All security personnel respond immediately. Activate emergency protocols. They've detected us, Martinez said, drawing her weapon. Sullivan, plant the device. The rest of us will hold them off. The first wave of Drax security forces entered the chamber, weapons ready. Despite their coordination, they moved with a hesitation that betrayed their inexperience with actual combat. The Deathworlder team responded with the instinctive reactions of species evolved for survival. Vex charged forward, his saurian strength sending Drax flying. Ixil used its hive mind abilities to predict enemy movements. Mira shifted her form to absorb energy blasts. Zahn and Martinez provided covering fire as Sullivan worked frantically at the central crystal. Almost there, Sullivan called out. The system is fighting back, but our disruptor is adapting. More Drax forces poured into the chamber, their numbers beginning to overwhelm even the skilled Deathworlder team. Martinez took a glancing hit to her shoulder but continued firing, her Earth-evolved endurance keeping her in the fight despite the pain. It's done, Sullivan finally shouted, backing away from the crystal as the disruption device activated. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The crystal's glow faltered, then began to pulse erratically. The Drax soldiers suddenly stopped their coordinated attack, their movements becoming confused and disorganized. Some dropped their weapons, clutching at their heads as if in pain. Let's move, Martinez ordered. Back to the shuttle. The team fought their way out of the facility, facing much less resistance as the Drax struggled to function without their hive mind connection. By the time they reached the shuttle, reports were coming in from the fleet in orbit. Captain, this is right. The Drax fleet is in disarray. Ships are breaking formation. Some are colliding with each other. Whatever you did down there is working. The shuttle lifted off, returning to the Valkyrie as the Drax civilization fell into chaos below them. As they rejoined the fleet, Martinez opened a channel to all allied ships. This is Captain Martinez. The mission was successful. The Drax hive mind has been disrupted. Press the advantage, but remember, our goal isn't extermination. We're better than they are. In the days that followed, the Deathworlder Alliance secured control of the Drax home system. Without their coordinated hive mind, the Dracs were forced to negotiate as individuals. The terms were simple: an end to their campaign against Deathworld species and reparations for the worlds they had destroyed.